A very good morning, children. Today we are going to start a new lesson, and the topic of the lesson is active and passive voice. Okay, lesson number 26. The other lessons are omitted. We have learned up to lesson number 18. After 18, we are coming directly to lesson number 26. Okay, and this means we are almost at the completion of the syllabus. I think just after this lesson, one or two lessons will be more. Then we'll start revision for the annual examination. Okay, so today we are going to start a new lesson, lesson number 26, active voice and passive voice. First of all, let us understand what is the meaning of active voice. Children, a subject is basically divided into two parts: subject and predicate. A sentence is basically divided into two parts: subject and predicate. Subject means about who or what we are talking. Alright, that is subject. And what the subject does, the remaining part of the sentence is called predicate. Okay. Now, what is active voice? When the subject is doing the action actively, it is called active voice. Subject is involved directly. When the subject actively performs the action, it is called active voice. Action means verb. Okay. And in uh, active voice, subject as well as the object both are important. Okay. In active voice, subject as well as the active object both are important. That is active voice. Once again, let me tell you, when the subject performs the action actively, it is called active voice. In active voice, subject is there plus object is also there. Now, what is passive voice? In the passive voice, importance is given to object. I told you, in active voice, importance is given to both subject as well as the object. But in passive voice, importance is given to object. They do not give any importance to the subject. In some cases, subject may not be mentioned in the passive voice. This is the difference. And one most important point, only transitive verbs. What do you mean by transitive verbs? You have learned already transitive verb and intransitive verb. Okay. Transitive verbs means the sentence must have an object to complete the meaning. When a sentence has an object to complete the meaning, it is called transitive verb. But when a sentence does not have an object, it is called intransitive verb. Suppose I say, uh, the girl is reading a storybook. The girl is reading a storybook. Reading is the verb. What is she reading? Storybook. Storybook is the object. Means object is there, so it is transitive voice. Verb, okay. But when I say the girls are playing, the girls are playing. Playing is the verb, but I have not mentioned any object. So it is intransitive voice. Remember, transitive verbs have object. Intransitive verbs do not have any object. And only transitive verbs with object can be changed into passive voice. Clear? And once again, in active voice, the subject performs the action actively. And in active voice, subject as well as the object both are important. But in passive voice, subject is not important. Only object is important. Much importance is given to the object. Okay. And there are some more rules. When you change active voice into passive voice, what are the rules? Number one, objects change the position. When active voice is changed into passive voice, objects change its position. Objects changes position. I'll give you the examples. Okay, when active voice is changed into passive voice, objects change its position. Okay, the boy kicked the ball. The boy kicked the ball. The boy is the subject. What did he kick? Ball. Ball is the object. Listen, okay. Here, subject is doing the action actively. The boy kicked the ball. The boy is the subject. He is performed the action actively. This is active voice. Now, same voice I can change into passive without changing the meaning. The meanings not be changed. Okay, I said the boy kicked the ball. This is active voice. Now passive voice. The ball was kicked by the boy. Now see here. First I said the boy kicked the ball. Subject came first. Now in the that is active voice. Now in passive voice I said the ball was kicked by the boy. In the passive voice the object has come first. So this has become passive voice. That is rule number 1. Rule number 2. If the subject appears in the sentence in passive voice, it is introduced by using by. If the subject appears in the sentence in passive voice, it is introduced with by. I told you in passive voice, subject is not important. In passive voice, subject is not important, only object is important in passive voice. So, when you have to write about the subject in the passive voice, the subject is introduced with by, by. Once again, let me tell you. In passive voice, subject is not important. Only object is important. That is the rule. But if you have to write the subject in the passive voice, you must write the subject with by, by. Third one, the verb takes on the suitable past participle form and agrees in number and person with the object in the subject position. The verbs and the numbers will be changed according to the format of the sentence. Okay, singular, plural, past tense, present tense, this also must be maintained. It is very important. All right. Now further, uh, this active voice and passive voice can be written in simple present, simple continuous, perfect continuous, or perfect tense. Many tenses are there. Like I'll read some examples from you. See, active voice. Simple active voice, he makes pots. Active voice, he is the subject, pots is the object. Okay, he makes pots. A continuous tense, he is making pots. Then perfect tense, he has made pots. The perfect, there's perfect continuous, he has made pots. Perfect, he has been making pots. Next one, you see passive voice. Now passive voice, pots are made by him. Okay, pots are made by him. In continuous, pots are being made by him. See here, pots is the object. Object is coming first. Now perfect continuous, pots have been made by him. Then perfect, no passive voice because there is no subject. Okay, past continuous, active. He made pots. Continuous. He was making pots is past continuous. Okay. The past perfect continuous. He had made pots. Then perfect. He had been making pots. Passive voice. Pots were made by him. Pots were being made by him. Present perfect continuous. Pots had been made by him. There is no passive voice. When there is no passive voice, see, only transitive verbs which have a direct object can be used in the passive voice. Only transitive verbs can be used in passive voice. Remember, okay? The intransitive verbs cannot have a passive voice. Intransitive verbs means they do not have objects. Okay. Intransitive verbs means they do not have the object. They cannot change meaning to passive. Now, Somebody has stolen the crown. Somebody is the subject, stolen the crown. Crown is the object. Okay, or you can change it. The crown has been stolen by someone. Okay, first we talked somebody, subject. Second we said crown. Means when subject came first in the sentence, it is active. Now I can change it into passive, like the crown has been stolen by somebody. The crown has been stolen by somebody. All right, then change. The tired traveler slept peacefully. The tired traveler, of course, we are talking about the traveler, is the subject, but there is no object. So this cannot be changed into passive voice. If there is no object, cannot be changed into passive. That is the meaning. Only transitive verbs, verbs with object, can be changed into passive voice, or else it cannot be. Then you next on to simple future. Simple future, he will make pots. He will make pots. Simple continuous, future continuous, he will be making pots. And perfect continuous, he will have made pots. And perfect, he will be making pots. Next. Now, the uses of it in passive voice. In sometimes in some sentences we have to use it also. It. Okay, example. People say King Vikramaditya's story is a myth. It is said that King Vikramaditya's story is a myth. Changing into voice. See, people say, people is the subject. What did they say? That the object is the myth of King Vikramaditya. People is the subject, myth is the object. So how to change it into passive voice? It is said that King Vikramaditya's story is a myth. Next one is see. They say this officer is corrupt. It is said that this officer is corrupt. It is said that this officer is corrupt. Okay, then. People believe that this house is haunted. It is believed that this house is haunted. Now, changing commands to passive voice. Commands means, declarative, imperative, interrogative, exclamatory. These are the voices. Okay. Now, changing. Command, as well, we all know, are in active voice. Commands are always in active voice. Like the teacher ordered the students to keep quiet. The teacher ordered is a command. The teacher ordered the students to keep quiet. Remember that. Commands are always in active voice. We change them into passive voice. How? Like sell this old machine off and buy this new one. It is a command. It's an order. Like sell this old machine off and buy this new one. Now how to change it, Wendler? Let the old machine be sold off and a new one be bought. Let the old machine be sold and the new one be bought. Then chop the vegetable. Chopping means cutting. Chop the vegetables fast and cook them before noon. Let the vegetables be chopped before fast and be cooked before noon. Now, the verbs be and have, when used as main verbs, do not have a passive voice. Important rule. The verbs be and have cannot be changed into a passive voice. Like the following sentences, for example, cannot have a passive voice. They are bored. Nothing. It's about being, be or have. We are all human beings. We cannot change it. They have a swimming pool at home. We cannot change it. She had high fever last night. We cannot change it. So let me say once again, recap. Active voice and passive voice. When the subject actively performs the action, it is called active voice. In active voice, subject and objects both are important. Now, what is passive voice? In the passive voice, subject is not important. In passive voice, importance is given to the object. Now, if the subject is to be mentioned in the passive voice, they come with by. They are joined in with by. Okay. Then Only transitive verbs can be changed into passive voice. Only transitive verbs can be changed into passive voice. Okay, and all the commands are in active voice. Commands, all the commands are in active voice. Now let's see the exercise. It's in page number 127, page 127. I'll give you a few examples. Okay, follow them and complete them. Exercise B: identify the sentences that are in active voice and those that are in passive voice by writing A and P against them. Okay, in the blank space you have to write active or passive. First you read the sentence carefully. And I told you, in active voice, subject comes first. Subject comes first. If object is coming first, it is passive. Now let us see. He was taught by his uncle. He was taught. Who is the teacher? Uncle. Uncle is the subject here. Okay. So he was taught, not he is teaching. He is teaching means it is active voice. But here he was taught by his uncle. His uncle taught him. So this is passive voice. In active voice, subject comes first, object comes afterward. In passive voice, object comes first and subject, it is not important. Now, books are the best friends anyone can have. Books are the best friends anyone can have. It is also passive. Alright, do carefully. Now let's see exercise C. Put a tick against the sentences which can be written with the verb in the passive voice and put a cross against the, okay. If you can change it, it's okay. If you cannot change it, put a cross. Put a tick against the sentence which can be rewritten with the verb in the passive voice, whose voice can be changed. Okay, means the sentence must be in active. Only active voices can be changed into passive voice. So let's see. We welcome their offer of help. We welcome their offer of help. This can be changed. We is the subject, help is the object. We can change. Their offer of help are welcomed by us. So it is tick mark. This can be changed. Tick mark. If it is in active voice, then only it can be changed into passive voice. Now, one cannot question her integrity. Yes, this can also can be changed. Her integrity cannot be questioned by anyone. Tick mark. Like this you do. Then you move to page number 128. What is written there? Rewrite the following sentences by changing the voice from active to passive or from passive to active. Some sentences are in active, change them into passive. Some are in passive, change them into active. Like, I taught him to play chess. I taught him to play chess. I is the subject. Okay. Chess is the object. So how will you change? I taught him to play chess. He was taught to play chess by me. He was taught to play chess by me. See the sentence here. I said in passive voice, subject is not important. Okay. But if you have to add the subject, you have to use by. He was taught to play chess by me. Then number 2. Amit broke Anu's doll. Anu's doll was broken by Amit. The policeman wrote the complaint of the victim. The victim's complaint was returned by the policeman. Like this you complete. Okay. So your homework, uh, page 127, exercise B and C, page 128, exercise D. So do your best, children. I shall do the correction in the next class. Till then, bye.